Welcome to Stock Talk, everyone. We're the place where we focus on today's most interesting investment plays, really trying to help you cut through all the noise. Today, we're taking a close look at Microsoft, ticker is MSFT, of course. We want to understand what's really behind its recent run-up and why everyone seems to be talking about it.
Exactly. And for our chat today, we're leaning heavily on the analysis from stocktelescope.com. They've got a really comprehensive forecast for Microsoft, the MSFT stock. It's a great starting point for digging into the details here.
Right, so our mission really is to unpack why Microsoft is being flagged as, a premier investment opportunity right now, especially with this whole convergence of AI and the cloud. We're going to pull out the most important bits for you. Okay, so let's get into it. Microsoft just dropped some, frankly, blockbuster Q4 2025 results. Shares jumped, 8.28% after hours, hit an all-time high, $555.74. And the core idea, investment thesis, according to the source, seems to be this AI-powered cloud dominance.
Yeah, and it's fascinating when you look at the pillars holding this up. First, Azure, their cloud platform. It just hit, a historic milestone. Over $75 billion in annual revenue now. And it grew 39% in Q4 alone.
Right.
That's really closing the gap with competitors like AWS.
39% is huge growth at that scale.
It really is. And what's maybe even more impressive is the enterprise grip. 85% of Fortune 500 companies use Azure. Think about that stickiness once you're embedded in these massive companies. Well, you're not easily replaced.
That's a serious competitive advantage built right in, a moat, essentially.
Exactly. And then you've got the AI side of the business. It's just, exploding. It's now at a $13 billion annual run rate. That's up 175% year over year. Just incredible growth.
Wow, 175%.
Yeah. And a massive driver is Copilot, their AI assistant suite. Get this. 70% of Fortune 500 companies are using the Microsoft 365 Copilot. And across all the Copilot products, they're hitting something like 100 million monthly active users.
So it's not just cloud and AI, it's AI inside the cloud and products.
Precisely. They're weaving it into everything. And this convergence, it's accelerating revenue across the board, even in the traditional productivity suite. And the profitability is exceptional, a 45.62% operating margin. Almost half of every revenue dollar is operating profit. It's best in class, really.
Okay, but here's where it gets maybe a bit trickier. The source does mention concerns. Things like a premium valuation, maybe some complexities around the OpenAI partnership. So, for someone looking at this, how big are these potential risks?
That's a really important point, and it raises the question, right? Despite these risks, you mentioned the valuation, like a 37.63 PE ratio, which is pretty high, signaling big growth expectations. And there's even mention of an FTC investigation looking into potential antitrust stuff. So why, despite all that, does the source still land on a strong buy?
Yeah, why the strong buy?
It boils down to what the source identifies as Microsoft's sustainable competitive advantages. We're talking about that integrated ecosystem we touched on, those super deep enterprise relationships. The sheer scale of their AI and cloud infrastructure is massive. Plus, you have these data feedback loops constantly improving things. It all creates this really formidable competitive moat. It's just hard for others to attack.
So the strengths outweigh the risks in their view.
Seems to be the case. And don't forget the financials. They're sitting on, $94.6 billion in cash and generating $71.6 billion in free cash flow. That's the cash left after all expenses and investments. That gives them huge flexibility to keep pouring money into AI and still return value to shareholders.
Okay, so summing it up, despite those caveats, the verdict from stocktelescope.com is indeed a strong buy.
Nice.
You've got a 12-month price target range of $580 to $620. That suggests, maybe 5 to 15% potential upside from that recent high?
Right. And maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. If you step back and look at the bigger picture, how might this rapid expansion of AI and cloud dominance from a giant like Microsoft, how might that fundamentally reshape the industries that you work in or care about? What new opportunities or maybe even challenges does this create for you? Something to think about.
Definitely food for thought. Now, before we wrap up, we have to include our crucial disclaimer.
Yes. Please remember, this investment thesis we've discussed is purely for informational purposes.
Yes.
It does not constitute investment advice.
The analysis is based on publicly available info and reflects independent research from the source we cited.
You should always conduct your own due diligence and definitely consult with licensed financial advisors before making any investment decisions.
And remember, past performance never guarantees future results. All investments carry the risk of loss.